Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. My name is Matthew. This is Sid. We are part of the marketing research class 341 over on the PMBA program, and we're here conducting a focus group for Friends Without Borders. You all are here of your own free consent. There's a whole list of things. I know you guys are kind of familiar with focus groups. It's going to be very exciting. We're looking forward to getting your input. And if you could just briefly go around the room, introduce yourself, what city you're from, maybe your education experience, what you do for work, that'd be awesome. And we'll start over here with Sid. I don't know how I already know his name. Telepathic.
So I mean, we've already met this morning. So my name is Sid, but to Sid too, basically. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, I feel this subject, marketing research, is like so motivating. But it's hell difficult. At least someone makes it difficult, but I feel that it's gonna be a nice experience.
Okay. What city are you from, and where do you?
I mean, I'm like, if you guys have heard about the Taj Mahal, I live like right close to that. So the city's name is Agra. So.
Gotcha. And where in the East Bay are you living now?
I don't live in East Bay.
Okay. Where in California are you living now?
I live in the city, San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, Mark.
My name's Mark. I obviously, I work as an engineer at an oil refinery in Martinez. I live in Danville, and I've never taken a marketing class before, so I'm interested to see how this goes.
I too.
Alright, I'm Coleman. Probably recognize a couple of you from PMBA days and PMBA alum. Live out in Livermore now, work for a dog food company, and I remember just how difficult it can be to get people to do these things. So.
Lady Coleman.
My name is Mari. I work at Stanford in the payroll department, and I do medical here.
I'm Michael. I live in Moraga. I'm also in the PMBA program. I went to Berkeley for my undergrad, and I'm a salesman at a marketing company for personal injury lawyers.
Gotcha. All right.
I'm Brian Zukowski. I live in Concord, and I do online advertising and then automotive photography.
Yeah.
Chris Williams. I own 2 different businesses, and I live in Tracy.
Mark Rakuja, I'm in the PMBA program too, and then I do a commercial real estate racing in Walnut Creek.
Raphael, I live with Isha, and I'm working consulting.
Gotcha. Well, it's a pleasure to meet all of you guys. It's really exciting, and we're going to show you a brief video. Pay really close attention because we want to get your thoughts on it. Just try and see if you notice anything, see what your initial reactions are, and we'll go from there. My apologies for the technical difficulties, but we're trying to get you all to imagine what they're saying. So.
Maybe I can wait for my laptop.
Okay. Give us 2 seconds. We're going to switch.
Is it Apple TV?
They need a password for that.
Password?
Yeah.
It comes on there, like,
So what are y'all's perspectives so far? Does it seem like pretty professionally well done, or is it a little, could it use some work, just from your first impression?
That first little thing with the plane flying in looked a little old-fashioned.
Little cartoonish, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe there's cool music that went with it that I didn't hear. but-
Yeah.
It's like clip art.
yeah, the key, it comes on the screen.
Oh, it's on
So
the
definitely
screen?
could use some work.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They told me that Sierra Leone's on the west coast
So
of
you
Africa.
just put that
I thought it was on the east coast. I don't know why.
Okay.
Yeah, just,
What's the key?
it's
I
gonna
think
come.
Sam would
It's
be a
gonna
good
come.
addition.
Try it again. Which one is this? Try the other one.
I do. Both need a key.
Do you just want to play it from your laptop right here, and they can just like look at it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 290.
Huh? Oh, 290? There you
Oh,
go.
look, Finding Dory.
Sausage party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we'll see what your impressions are with the sound.
Wait a minute. You don't know sound.
I visited Sierra Leone for yes. Like young man. He had lost his parents and was responsible for taking care of his younger brother. He was washing cars and he was driving. My daughter said he is a very smart young man with a big dream. He wants to go to college. College education in Sierra Leone is for rich, and it stays as a dream if you don't have money or parents who can support your education. Ibrahim didn't have any of it. Neither money nor parents who would pay for his education. I looked at those children and young people in that country with no resources and tremendous amount of potential. I could not see myself coming back and doing nothing. The definition of local and global changed for me. The definition of family changed for me. What seems to be local is actually global. There are no borders, and there is no separation between us as human beings. We are all part of one family, and that's our human family. We live in a global community.
I think that Families Without Borders plays an important role because they do things that others don't. It's not workshops, it's not a lot of talking, it's specific interventions into the lives of real people. And I think that makes a difference.
Initially, we had a hands-on approach in our programs. We built schools, we supported the education of young children in the village, we started school gardens, we initiated community farms, and we bought generators for schools in the village, and we were involved in every single part of every program. We implemented the program, we managed the program. Gradually, with Ibrahim's success story, we realized that if we empowered young men and women and have them go out and do the work in the village and in town, we can get much greater results. We now do the work through our students with greater impact, and the return on investment is much higher.
I think Families Without Borders plays an important role, and especially in terms of the support they give to students who otherwise wouldn't be able to get support. And only 3% of Sierra Leoneans get to university. If you know as an absolute fact, it's never been hidden from you, it's been explained to you, that your family will never be able to afford to send you to university.
In 2015, we started the first high-speed internet cafe and technology center for public use in McKinney. Our college students are running it, it pays for the day-to-day expenses of our college students, and it sustains itself.
Families Without Borders is the base and is everything to me because they provide what I need to start up to do what I want to do in life. I was nobody. I was even struggling to have what to eat. And Families Without Borders has helped me so much that now I can provide food for myself enough, and my brothers also and sister. And I'm very, very much proud, and I appreciate everything that they've done for me.
Ibrahim's success is a testament to why we do what we do. It is a remarkable story of a young man who only dreamed of going to college. Today,
All right, so we're going to stop right there. I want you all to try and evaluate it in the context of how informative it was, whether there was significant or not so significant emotional appeal, and the professional aspect of it. So feel free to just, we're not going to go around the room and get everyone's opinion, so I want sort of a free-flowing discussion. So anybody with some initial thoughts that wants to jump out there?
I mean, if you're looking for affluent donors, which kind of comes off, they need a lot of money to do the stuff they're doing. The quality needs to step up quite a bit in terms of like the video and like, you know, probably the presenter as well. It shouldn't be the founder. It should be somebody that can speak really clearly and concisely. So
you think the quality is not necessarily matching the demographic that they're trying to
I think also about the video there's something off as to, for me, it doesn't look genuine.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks a little fabricated.
I agree. Emotion kind of felt, especially when the presenter came on.
Yeah.
The JD comedy was a good transition to like bringing it back up to more informative level, but every time she came on, it fell.
yeah, there was passion with it. There was none.
Yeah.
It was just very formulaic, reading like off a script.
Yeah.
Trying too hard.
Yeah, where you need somebody that can come in and speak. It doesn't have to be the founder. It just needs to be somebody who can speak in a way that sounds conversational.
Yeah.
It seemed narcissistic to me. Like, just with the founder, like, I went to Africa, I had a life-changing experience. You know, when Ibrahim came on and he was talking about how Families Without Borders helped him, I was interested in that, but we saw all these parts where she was presumably speaking with people from Sierra Leone, but we only heard one person from Sierra Leone speak. We heard her, and then this other JD dude or something like that. And I mean, I just feel like she was putting herself too much in front of the camera, and I want to hear from the people themselves.
Okay. It's almost like the video was a tribute to her, whereas it should have been more of a tribute to the people who. Okay.
I think if they like move more quickly into explaining how the program works, it'd be nice, because I mean that was almost 5 minutes I think, and I still don't really know like that how it functions or like, you know. So I think that maybe getting to like the important stuff quicker would probably be helpful versus a viewer.
Yeah, I think I also feel that what they could have done would be move towards from individualistic persons to more like a group of people doing activities and stuff, right? And you just show like people working on a computer. That's not enough for someone to put in some money there, right?
So you want maybe a little more community interaction.
Community interaction.
Okay. Any other thoughts on that?
I think the name doesn't capture what they do, right? And it's obvious that they're trying to make their dollars go as much into effect as possible. And you can't really get away with having a name that needs explanation without having to pay to explain it, right? So there's a misalignment there, I think, with what they're trying to do and their name.
Excellent point. Okay, so I've been getting a couple good feedback. Does anybody have specific recommendations for the video? Like what they could do better about the video? I mean, I know we said maybe not have so much focus on Terry, maybe more focus on Ibrahim or some of the others. Any more recommendations?
I guess adjusting the shots, because like one of them was a really long take where they were standing for a picture and it just was really awkward. And then maybe when, at least when Terry, when it's on her, changing her location because she's like on the couch and you have like the end of the pillow kind of sticking up and it just, it's also a little bit awkward. Maybe like have her in a more stimulating setting, or maybe like just someone who's not just so like mom, and I think maybe the transitions a little bit too.
Gotcha. Now, kind of transitioning back to Coleman's point about the name, when you guys first hear Families Without Borders, what comes to mind? What would you think that sort of nonprofit company would be about? Like, what do you think their main purpose would be, their mission statement? What comes to mind when you hear that?
Adoption, maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking like medical treatment. You know, it's a family in Sierra Leone, somebody's sick, and they fly into France or whatever the nearest, you know, that level of medical facility is.
Or even like a student exchange program or something, where kids go stay with families in another country or something.
Yeah,
Or
something like that.
maybe like just removing, like had I not known the context of Sierra Leone, I'd have thought maybe something like immigration related or something like that.
I thought more towards, it looked like people sharing resources from like people living in more developed areas, providing resources for families different, where there's not so many resources. Yeah, this thing didn't capture.
Gotcha. Yeah, if you asked to name like the top 5 things that I thought their company would be about education, wouldn't have been one of them.
That's pretty profound right there. Yeah, so that's clearly a problem. So just, you know, a quick little brainstorm session. What do you guys think would be a name that would more aptly fit the work that they're trying to accomplish?
Education Without Borders.
Students Without Borders. Students Without Borders. Okay.
I don't think I really know what their main goal is.
It is difficult.
Is it primarily the education, or is it like, because they're doing projects in the communities too, so it's a little.
Yeah, it's a little divergent. It's not as
Everything.
focused and singular as maybe it should be, and the video doesn't do a great job of explaining that, as we could kind of attest to.
Is it only in Sierra Leone?
No, there are different Families Without Border programs, but this specific one focuses on Sierra Leone. Yeah.
Is that video, is that something they use like internally or to show a few people or explain what they're doing, or are they planning on using that for like some type of commercial to get donors?
I believe it's on the website, and so this is one of the hooks for Families Without Borders, and as we could, get the consensus here that there are some significant issues with that. I love the feedback that we've been getting for it. We're going to kind of go right now into a little bit of a different path. What I want to do is it's a word association exercise. Everybody has pens. We're going to hand out paper. Yes, awesome. I can just put this out. Okay, so I'm going to get everybody a piece of paper. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and name a nonprofit organization, and you all are going to write the first word that comes to your mind when you hear that nonprofit, and then once you write that word, you're going to write the next word that comes to your mind after writing that one. So it's just going to be like sort of you want to list maybe 10 different words in sequence. I guess this would have been more effective if I just pass this around, but actually that's what I'm going to do because
Are we going to do more than one?
Yes, we're going to do. You can just write them all down like columns if you want to.
Wait, so you're gonna name a nonprofit, and we're gonna write the first word that comes to our mind, then the next
Next
first
one,
word,
yep.
and then iterate that.
Exactly. And you're going to do that 10 times for each word. Just let me know when you all are ready, and I will give you the first one. And after each one, we're going to kind of discuss what your thoughts were and what your thought process was in selecting that word. All right, everybody ready? All right, so the first one is Red Cross. So after, what was the first thing you think of? What's the second word you think of after blood? When you think of blood, what comes to mind after that? And if when you all finish, you just put your pens down so I know when listen this morning, that'd be awesome. And if you can't come to 10, that's totally acceptable. Call it right there. I know some of y'all are still working, but I want to try and get through as many things as we can right now. So let's just go around the room. Somebody tell, what your first word that came to mind was, and maybe where your last word was, and try and connect the dots between the two, and maybe we could get a little insight into what you think of in terms of Red Cross. So who wants to start us off?
I just started off with relief and did income Haiti.
Okay. And why do you think relief came to your mind first when you thought Red Cross?
I just thought about the hurricane, and then that was the immediate thing that came up in terms of the news cycle when the hurricane and the earthquakes happened. So that's where I go.
Okay, excellent, thank you. Anybody else want to share?
We came up with help. It's kind of the same reason. They just seem to always be there where major help is needed.
Gotcha. And what was the last word you came up with? Or was help the last one that you came up with?
No, life was the last one I came up with because they kind of are all about saving lives any way they can. So.
Gotcha. Awesome. Anybody else want to share?
I mean, it's fun. The thing that came to my mind was blood.
Okay.
I pick up and I pick up those. And then the other thing was free Medicare. That's pretty much.
Okay. Anybody else?
First word I had was medicine, and the last word I had was pandering. I just kind of went through a progression of medicine, health, prevention, and then I started wondering, have I ever seen the Red Cross talk about prevention? It always seems to be after the fact, swooping in, after there's a disaster, let's come on in, but then so we're coming in late, so we're gonna need donations, and I just think anything that asks for donations has to pander in some way. Whether or not it's pandering to me effectively is a different question. It's not a bad thing, but.
Gotcha. Excellent. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do the second one. We're just going to do two of these today. Everybody ready for this next one? All right, it's Salvation Army. And again, you don't have to come up with 10, just come up with as many as you can comfortably, and once you're finished, just put your pen down so I know. Go ahead and stop there. All right, who wants to share with us the first word they thought of when they heard Salvation Army?
Thrift shop.
Thrift shop? Okay. We'll just go around and everybody give us your first words and then we'll kind of go and see where they ended up.
I went with addiction.
Addiction? Okay.
Donations.
Donations.
Thrift store.
Thrift store, okay.
Clothing.
I have donation.
Clothing.
Donations. Now, what were some of the last words that people came up with in this? Started going with you, Mark.
Macklemore.
I went from addiction to reintegration.
Okay.
Christian.
Charity with a question mark.
Donations.
Thrift store.
Any of the families.
Yeah, donations.
Yeah. Those are people in need.
Okay. So, what do you guys think it is? Do you guys feel like it was pretty unanimous feelings as what terms come to mind with Red Cross and Salvation Army? And do you think it's, like when you think of those two nonprofits, what is it about them do you think that has helped them develop such a strong brand that kind of contributes to such a consensus thinking?
It's familiarity, right? We all at this table have heard of these things before. And that's from advertising, and that's from probably Salvation Army. They don't advertise as much, but you still see them like every Christmas, right?
Yeah, so it's visibility and
Red Cross has a strong logo too. You can just picture it in your head whenever you hear it.
I mean, the name describes the logo, which is pretty good, which is synonymous with medicine.
so again, we get back to the name, purpose, combination. That was not necessarily the case with Families Without Borders. Any other thoughts?
To that, Salvation Army is kind of misaligned,
Okay.
right? You would hear that, and is it like a bunch of mercenaries for,
Yeah.
for the Vatican? You know? I
I
don't know.
mean, the first time I heard that, I thought the same thing.
Right.
What is this?
So how do you think Salvation Army has been able to overcome that misalignment and still develop such a strong brand?
Because they've got the budget to be that. They're ubiquitous. You see them everywhere.
Okay.
Right? And it's just kind of like, well, what the hell is this? And you see it every Safeway or CVS that you walk past, and you have no choice but to confront it and
Yeah.
be familiar with it.
No escaping.
Well, there is no escape. That's true. That's kind of one of the things that they specialize in, right?
Yeah.
And they're consistent. Like in the commercial that you see about them, it's always
They have a uniform.
it's always during the Christmas time requesting X at this time, and it's always like the same thing as opposed to movies where it's just presenting that they're doing multiple different things and then tailoring the message for one thing. Yes, that makes sense. And the same thing with the Red Cross, where every time you see them, they're doing one thing over and over when they are present. So.
Okay, so kind of spinning off this a little bit, what charities do you all think pretty highly of, and what do you feel comfortable donating to, or like donating your time or other resources to? And what is it about those charities that makes you feel a strong attachment? Anybody? Mark?
The local food bank.
Okay.
Contra Costa, Solano. Because you see them pick up food, they're local, you know,
How long have you been volunteering there?
maybe I don't volunteer that often, but the last couple of years I have.
Gotcha. And how did you first hear about them?
They work with my work, or my work sponsors them, so
So you got that connection.
yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
I think the Nature Conservancy.
Okay.
It's something that they have like different projects all over the world, and they work for the betterment of providing resources for the people to sustain their daily lives.
And how did you first hear about it?
I heard about them when I started working for them.
Okay, that makes sense. Anybody else?
Those ones that like Safeway, you know, like say it'd be like breast cancer, or like veterans organizations, homeless people, like just because I'm always there, tripping groceries and stuff. And like I feel like that I ended up hearing about, you know, those.
So going back to the ubiquitous.
Yeah, they obviously have like a partnership with a big corporation, so it's obviously kind of in front of you all the time.
Anybody else with some strong attachments and?
I'm not really sure. It's like a charity first, but whenever Wikipedia asks for donations, I always do just because I get a lot of value out of it, and I think it's an important thing to have around. Another nonprofit, but I don't think of it in the same way as I don't put it in the same category as any of these other charities mentioned. I don't think of it as a charity so much, just a nonprofit. And that's an important distinction for me.
Okay. Do you feel like maybe Wikipedia helps more people than some of these other ones, or maybe your money is better spent there than it would be at?
I certainly think that. I mean, I know just the value that it's brought to me, and I'm a very strong proponent of information being freely accessible, and I think it's probably of more benefit to people in less well-to-do countries who still may have internet access because we've got schools and libraries and all sorts of places that if we didn't have Wikipedia, we could still find information, but all you need is an internet connection to get there, so I really do think they do a lot of good.
Gotcha. So what do you guys view as turnoffs in terms of charities? Like what would kind of be like, oh, I'm definitely not volunteering my time or donating any resources to that charity?
Scandals like with Wounded Warrior, like the guys used all the money to go play golf and whatnot. So scandals.
Falling Whistles, when their spokesperson was in LA and just went off the rails and mismanagement of money as well.
One thing I feel though is, I'm talking about all the charities, most of them think that it's a one-time thing. They try to implement it as a one-time, like they don't try to create a thing that's gonna sustain itself on its own. And I mean, right now, like Family Without Borders, they were talking about teaching the people out there to sustain their lives by themselves. So that's one thing that I like. But charities that focus on just like helping out for this one time, that's a turn off for me.
So you like more of an ongoing type of, yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts?
You need comment.
Yeah, oh, excellent.
I think if it's not clear where the money's gonna go, if you know how your money's gonna be spent, it's easier to donate.
Okay.
Yeah, financial efficiency is important. Now, it doesn't mean that if I donate $1, I expect 99 cents to go into something, because I understand the infrastructure is expensive.
Yeah.
Right. So there's like a golden band where somewhere between 20% and somewhere thereabouts, I guess. Okay, 80 cents is going to make it. Or at least 60 cents is going to make it. Anywhere in there, I'm comfortable with. But if it's at least as much or close to even is going into overhead, vice, efficiency, that to me at least, that's a big turn off.
Having good transparency is super important.
Yeah. Probably an immature reason, but if they have like annoying or over-intrusive like commercials or radio ads, like that Cars for Kids radio things.
Yeah.
I feel bad saying, but like if there was another charity that did the exact same thing that didn't have that stupid song, it makes me, I won't donate to that charity just because of that commercial, because it's always on and it annoys me.
I think
Stuff like that.
yeah, I think one more thing related to that. The most annoying thing that resembles is when they're showing that it's more like problems, and I'm talking about solutions. That's also a big turn off.
Yeah, when they're really trying to like tug on your heartstrings, like you're watching Comedy Central and they show you a puppy crying, and it's like, come on, like, all right, yeah, I want to help the puppy, but like, don't. It feels like it's talking down to me.
And if it really is that
if you don't
bleak,
participate.
if it's that bleak, why should I give you $1? I mean, should I just buy a bullet and hit it?
Any more thoughts on that? Okay. So when you guys go about, when you make the decision to go ahead and allocate your resources or your time into a charity, is it more based off of face-to-face interaction? Is it you kind of going out and reading up on it, visiting websites, or is it more like, hey, somebody called me and was asking me for a donation and I just caved? So what's the usual recourse that ends up with you all deciding to contribute in one shape or another to a charity?
Peer pressure from someone you actually know.
Okay.
It's a big one.
I think personal interaction is something that a person who's knowledgeable about it explains to you, because that's like you're not taking out time out of your daily routine to actually go and research about that, study about that. It makes it helpful. The only thing that you might need is if the person is not impersonable and he doesn't make you trust them, then they suck at the job, basically. So, but that,
Sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Like the Amnesty International, they're all grassroots and how they're always like on the side. And of course you walk by, but depending on how good the salesman is and how effective and how, like you said, how personal he is, that's causing me to actually donate. And definitely, like if there's a friend that it's something that they follow, like they're passionate about, and they can describe it to you in a way that is really receptive, and definitely you just kind of, okay, this is something I can donate toward. Yeah, that's usually what I do toward.
Gotcha. Now I'm going to kind of go in a little bit of a different direction real quick because we have to start wrapping up in the next couple minutes. Do you all think that having pretty significant literature on a charity would help in making your decision? Like, let's say there was a book about a success story, or if the website was really thorough and provided quite a bit of information. Is that something that you all would be interested in pursuing? Would that make you more attracted to the charity, or would it help increase the transparency? Would it just be like, oh, that's too much work? So I'd be interested in your thoughts on that.
I think
How long is the book?
Sorry?
How long is the book?
Excellent question. Let's say it's under 100 pages.
It really depends on your audience. Who are you trying to reach, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, back to the last thing. I grew up in LA, and I spent a lot of time on the beach. And I've always, my time and my money have always gone to environmental kind of causes. And when I had time but no money, I volunteered my time. And I would do things that were very specific. I would go and I'd pick up trash in a particular estuary or along the beach and things like that. And then going through very quickly to where, frankly, I'm pretty well off. I'm comfortable and I make money now and I don't have time. I still donate, but it's like to Nature Conservancy now. Right? So like the scope has changed and the way that I allocate my time to the same general cause has changed. Right? And what would have appealed to me at 16 to 25 doesn't appeal to me quite as much now at 32. And I make decisions now with where my financial resources go, a lot more on information, a lot more on data, on facts, on the transparency of where it would go. But when it comes to volunteering my time, it's a lot more about that personal appeal, the connection that I feel to the cause. Right? So providing literature might help with some people, and it might help, might not. It depends on the whom.
Gotcha. That's on target.
I would agree with that. My time is so sparing now in terms of free time. It's got to be something I'm really, really passionate about to go beyond just donation. And even donation now, it's got to be something that makes a lot of sense and is extremely transparent. I mean, everybody's a nonprofit and everybody's got some sort of thing, or Kickstarter or something. I mean, everybody's going for the handout now. So you got to be really, really on top of everything for me to be willing to donate at this point.
Yeah, definitely the material that they provide should be interactive. And I think one of the few things that work really well with this is a magazine that you have. It's like maybe a short magazine, more like 40 pages, 50 pages. But it depicts like what exactly you're doing and how you're doing and what are the latest updates on your projects, what are the news in that. It's like these things interest people and it makes it more interactive.
Yeah, the great thing about Kickstarter, and I will give it credit for, is if you're doing a project, if you're fundraising a project, you're getting constant updates on where the project's at, what they're doing, what, and even beyond funding, what they're doing with the money, where, everything is highly transparent. I think nonprofits can learn a lot from that, especially if they're in the donation sector. You gotta constantly keep being updated on where the money's going, or you're never gonna see another dime from me again.
That's an excellent point. So if a company or if a nonprofit were trying to explore the literature route and they wanted to go more into constant updates, what do you think would be a good media for that? Maybe books wouldn't be the best avenue. What would be some alternatives?
I read everything online, like news, no matter what. So a website is the easiest way to get information. If you want to have literature, if you want to have updates on what's going on, for me at least, it's just easiest to be able to go to a website and read some stuff.
Email too. Specifically saying donator update, something like that, where I'm gonna remember, okay, yeah, I did donate to that. Here's an update. I can see where the money's going, what's going on.
Like a
You
dashboard.
feel good about it.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Like, if the email says like donate to update and he sees that this is actually the work is going on, the donator can feel good about it.
Yeah. I'm gonna feel invested. I'm gonna feel more invested to continue to donate later.
Now, in terms of those updates, would you all be more interested in factual information, or would you be interested more in like a blog type style where people who are affected by your donations are like, hey, this is what I did today, or this is what I learned, and this is what I'm thankful for? And
Probably mix it up. I mean, I'm gonna need to see some factual stuff about we spent X amount of money on this, and this is what it's creating. And then maybe a week later you get a blog going, from that creation, here's what I'm now able to do. Like, thank you for your donation, stuff like that.
Anybody else? All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and try and wrap this up because I know there's another focus group that needs to get started. So really quick, I would just really appreciate some final closing thoughts. Like, what do you guys think Families Without Borders could do to maybe improve their video, improve their website, or maybe gain some traction in the community here? So any last inputs would be much appreciated.
They need a full rebrand. They need to rebrand themselves under a different name. It gives a much clearer and concise picture of what their goals are and what they're doing.
Because they don't have that ubiquity to stand on right now, so maybe with a better aligned name, they'd be able to gain a little more traction.
Yeah, and the Without Borders thing, I think, the first thing I thought was Doctors Without Borders, whatever, I think it's Doctors Without Borders. It's, so now you're kind of tied in, and now I'm wondering, is it the same? Like, are they together? And no, okay, so you just kind of ripped off a name through a different, adjective or noun on there, and now it's like, cool? I mean, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, definitely.
Anybody else?
Totally agree.
Totally agree.
A shorter video.
Shorter video. It was fairly long.
Getting to the point up front is important.
I feel like they beat around the bush maybe a little bit.
Yeah, that's the first thing you see when you go to their site and to learn about the company. I think it should be like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Like everything they said that could have been cut out.
And then you
a
can
third.
read more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
almost like re-engineered, where they're like, here's what happened. Now we'll show you a couple things about how we got there, and then that's it. But like you showed me exactly where your end game was and what you had already done, and then you kind of re-engineered it and showed me a little bit about how you got there. I'm hooked because now I want to know how the hell did you make this happen.
I never need to see that woman's face in the introduction video. She can voice over as much as she wants and show like this is what we're doing. Like when they showed like pumping the water and stuff, I'm kind of assuming that they provided that water pump.
Yeah.
So I don't know for sure, but if there was a voiceover, like it could be like, oh, cool, and I'm cutting back and forth.
And if she,
sound effects, basically.
Yeah.
if she has to show her face and make herself known that she's a founder, like maybe have her at the beginning and end, but otherwise have someone like that guy, his voice or something for the rest of the video.
At the very end, it could be a quick thank you. Like she's just sitting there, thank you for your donations and for looking us up and for looking more into it. We're here to help.
Moreover, like this video, it was just like going. It was like very steady, that same pace going on and on and on. But what like charities like Nature Conservancy, how they mix it up is when they want to show things like let's say, the work they're doing, they take it a little slow, like not that slow, but when they're showing like what the work that has already been done and how it's looking now, they make it like really fast. So if you mix it up that way, it keeps the user interested in seeing it.
Okay. Just some minor details that aren't really probably that important, but like the title, like if she has to, her face has to come up 20 times and this guy has to come up 20 times, you have to show their title. This is John, he's the founder of this. This is John, he's the founder of this. This is John, he's the founder of this. Okay, that the first time I saw him. And they animate the design itself, like keep it consistent. Like her title was one font, it was a certain size, and then his is a different font, it's the size, and just inconsistent, a little sloppy.
They had like a track of like children's laughter, laughing over her while she was speaking at one point. I don't know, it just seemed that just stood out to me as very unprofessional.
Do you remember what she was saying?
I do not remember at all what
But
she
you
was
remember
saying.
the laughter?
I remember that there were children laughing over it.
Okay. You should know that.
Excellent, excellent. So my last question for you guys before we leave. What do you think, like, let's say that the founder is based here in the East Bay, which hypothetically, what do you guys think she could do to gain some traction here and get people interested in it? I mean, it's not something where, you know, you can set up shop at Safeway, because your product isn't necessarily going to be seen in the community here. So it's a little more difficult, and you can't really tailor that approach to her situation. But what are your all recommendations? What do you think she might be able to do?
If she wants people to volunteer time, she should go after younger people. You know, without means, if she wants people to volunteer money, then she should tailor that message to people with money but no time, right? But they got no time. They sold their time for that money, right? So you have to be really respectful of that time.
Yeah.
So like a 30-second video rather than an 8-minute.
I think the message shouldn't be mixed up in a video. In one video, the message shouldn't be mixed up. It should be totally two different videos for two different type of audiences.
Okay. Any other last thoughts?
I don't know what the ethics are with this, but if she could meet with churches throughout the areas, I don't know if that's something they could put in bulletins. They're always looking for stuff like that. I don't know.
All right. Well, I'm going to end it here. I really appreciate you all coming out to this. It was a pleasure having you. A lot of great information. And I hope you all had a great focus group experience, and you all want to attend more later in the future. So.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.